Hey, welcome to Screenplay Junkie. My name's Drew Hellmich, and I'm a screenwriter. Film is a pretty sweet medium of art. However, before anything can make it to the big screen, it must start as a blueprint, text on paper. So if you're a fellow addict of film and storytelling, come join us as we take a look at various types of screenplays, short stories, and other source material that were crucial to the creation of the stories that we all love. I must warn you, though, there will be spoilers, so I do recommend being familiar with the title that's being discussed. Sound good? Cool. Then let's get started. Welcome back, fellow story addicts, to Screenplay Junkie episode number 39. Drew, Matt, and Bryan here for the second installment of this Fright Fest miniseries.
Honestly, I liked it. Previously, we were going to say if we liked that or not, but you know what, Drew? You killed it there.
Yeah, I think it sticks. Fright Fest, baby. Fright Fest.
Fright Fest. Keep it up.
Trying to bring
time of the year, honestly.
Yeah, trying to do like a AMC style like thing, you know, like
nice.
Kind of like a Monster
Totally
Fest.
understand.
You know, I remember that. Remember that stuff? They still do it, but I feel like it's weaker nowadays.
It's coming up. Yeah, where they just play Halloween for 24
Probably
days on edge.
Probably because of streaming. Now everyone's just streaming everything when they
that's
come
true.
home, not just
True,
watching
very
what's on
true.
TV. Technology.
Yeah, but I want to go back to just what they play on TV, Brian. You mentioned Halloween, but yeah, they're playing like Halloween 3, 4, 5.
They never play the good
Just
stuff.
like the garbage. Yeah, they play a lot of garbage.
It's probably cheaper for them to do that, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
To
I
get
don't
the
know.
crappier movie.
I don't know what it is, but God, get some like better stuff out there. Anyways, we got the Conjuring today, so I want to start off really quickly. Let's hop into this one. So, do you believe in ghosts, demons, the paranormal?
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts on that? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, well, if you guys didn't know, I'm actually an amateur ghost hunter myself. You know?
Really?
My services are out there. Just go to my website.
Nice.
The domain, it's undetermined right now, but we're working on the website. I got all kinds of gear. I got all kinds of technology, and yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Wow.
You know, for me, I show no fear. I don't get feared. I lack fear, but I do have a proton.
I also lack fear.
do.
I forgot to say that, but I also lack fear.
Incredible.
But on the reserve, I do have a proton pack in the closet just in case.
You never know.
Well, just don't cross those streams. Well, I know, Brian, I know you used to watch a lot of Ghost Adventures.
Great show.
Yeah, honestly, very entertaining.
Some Zach Baggins.
Truly,
you know.
truly the height of entertainment.
That's all true, man. It's all true. It's on True TV, so it's got to be true.
Exactly.
It's true, man.
Was it on True? Was it not Discovery?
I don't know. It was on probably a bunch of different channels.
It's probably on True TV now.
Yeah.
It's just that and the Impractical Jokers. That's all they got. True TV.
I just want to mention Ouija boards. What are you guys' thoughts on Ouija boards?
They used to scare the crap out of me, man.
False.
I agree.
I remember being like 10 years old up at our lake house, and the 16-year-olds, the people who were just much older than us, were scaring the crap out of us with that.
Yeah. I mean, you see like Ouija boards like in movies, like what's the
Ouija.
Ouija.
Oh,
The
well,
movie
of course, Ouija and like Paranormal
got its own
Activity.
movie. Got its own movie.
That's right.
What other board game has its own movie? Like Monopoly? That doesn't have a movie.
Jumanji.
Oh, damn it.
What's the
Wait,
other one?
but was Jumanji a board game or a movie first?
Movie first, yeah.
Okay, so see, that doesn't count then.
Yeah.
Candyland. When's Candyland getting a movie?
Snakes and
I feel like that's a good
ladders.
idea.
Battleship.
Oh, Battleship is a movie. Oh, that's
nice.
it. Way to go. That was a good one. Oh, the Lego movie. Does that count?
I mean, those are
Nah,
toys,
it's not a
but
board
All right.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I just want to talk about Ouija boards for one more second because right, Ouija boards are these these things that you're supposed to be able to communicate with
Spirits.
Yeah, spirits on the other side, whatever.
Apparitions.
But I feel
Ghouls,
like
ghosts, goblins. I was just trying to name things. Sorry.
whether the communication is positive or negative, my whole thing about them is, well, even if you were able to communicate that with whoever. Isn't that kind of weird that they're being sold at like Walmart and like Hobby Lobby?
Toys R Us.
I feel like they would be like much more expensive if that was like a possible thing to do.
A little strange.
You'd have to go to like an antique store and talk to some wrinkled old man to buy it.
Why would like a parent buy this for his kid? He's like, hey, I'm gonna get my kid this thing. He's gonna be scared as shit.
Yeah,
he's gonna leave me alone. I feel like parents, it was just a great plan. Here, take the Ouija board, go hide in the basement.
Oh, that would be like the weirdest isolation ever as far as like toys growing up.
Yeah.
Ouija board. Ugh.
Or like, were there kids that like had that, like, I want a Ouija board for my birthday, and the parents like had to.
They were just like, no.
They're like, what is this? You want to contact the devil? No. You want to contact ghosts?
Even looking at the Ouija word itself, how do you get the word Ouija out of the way they spell it?
It is a strange spelling. I don't know how. We should have led with that right when we brought Ouija up. It should start with a W, not an O.
Yeah, it is definitely a weird spelling.
Very.
I want to also bring up some like older paranormal movies that definitely pioneered this type of genre, because I feel like at least within the past decade, the film industry has been heavily populated by paranormal films. Mm-hmm. I mean, we could rattle horror, a ton off, but
yeah, the horror.
Yeah,
like the horror industry.
Yeah, like a horror subgenre. Yeah. So I mean, The Exorcist probably is the first one people would think of that came out in 1973. That scared the shit out of a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean the girl's head does a whole 360.
Yeah,
and that was a really cool practical effect.
Yeah, totally.
For 1973.
I mean, even if you watch if you watch that today, it's scary.
Dude, honestly, I've never even seen it.
It's yeah, you should watch it. I've only seen it like one time, and that was like enough for me. Definitely would want to watch it again. But another one that comes up would be Rosemary's Baby, which came out in 1968, which is basically about, I think, a woman who gives birth to the Antichrist. So imagine being in 1968 and watching that film.
Yeah. So if he's like the opposite of Jesus, instead of turning water into wine, does he like turn water into lava? Or what does he do there? Just fire. Everything turns to fire.
Yeah, he's just, I mean, basically like the devil's son. Or offspring. I don't really know. I haven't seen it. I feel like I should have seen it, but it's on the to-do list.
We're gonna watch it eventually. Yeah, man. I mean, the whole plot of that just sounds like it's definitely not going to be a happy ending if you're giving birth to the Antichrist.
Well, my whole thing with it is just the year, like when it came out,
1968.
Like people were probably terrified of it.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And now you're getting movies like the Conjuring franchise, right. Annabelle, all of these things. So.
I mean, I'm just gonna say this too, real quickly. Like, we don't have to comment on it, but in 1968, a lot more people probably were going to church and had a lot more religious views in America.
Right. Yeah.
So seeing someone possessed or giving birth to the Antichrist maybe is a little more edgy compared to seeing these movies nowadays, where we're a little more chill with that kind of stuff.
Which, I mean,
most definitely.
That's a good idea, at least from to cause some sort of
upstir.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely made some noise around that back in '68.
Yeah. Let's transition to the IMDb info.
Yeah, cool. So The Conjuring came out on July 19th, 2013. So it was 2013. What? 2013. It was a summer movie release, which
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
I could see it, I guess, but would prefer October, but summer is like...
I agree, yeah.
It's got a 7.5 out of 10 rating by the people, and the critics gave it a good rating. It's a 68 out of 100.
Okay.
So this movie was directed by James Wan,
who is great.
He's great. He's a good director. He's done Saw. More recently, he's done Furious 7 and Aquaman.
Insidious, I believe, too.
So, nice.
So he's definitely started with more of a horror background, but now he's doing other projects as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Aquaman is not a horror movie.
No.
I wonder how that is. I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
Who knows?
No.
Maybe I'll never watch it.
No,
I don't think I'll ever watch it. Okay, so here's the log line for The Conjuring. Paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren work to help a family terrorized by a dark presence in their farmhouse.
Perfect. That's all you need.
Wonderful.
Definitely a dark presence here in The Conjuring. Very, very dark. Starring in this movie is Vera Farmiga as Lorraine Warren. Patrick Wilson is Ed Warren. Then there's Lili Taylor and Ron Livingston as the Perron family.
Ron
the heads of the Perron family.
Livingston. Yeah, Ron Livingston was like a really random like cast for me, like casting decision because I don't know, I just haven't seen him and stuff in a while.
He's just the Office Space guy to me.
Office Space, Band of Brothers.
Band of Brothers, right?
Yeah,
he's good. I like him.
I like him
seeing
too.
him and stuff.
Yeah.
I want him to be in more things. Come on, man. What's his name again?
Ron
Livingston. Come on, man. I want to see you in more stuff. All right, so they made this movie for $20 million. Conjuring,
Holy shit.
The Conjuring, $20 million, which I'm impressed with. I'm genuinely impressed with that because, I mean, there's definitely some CGI going on in this one, I think.
Yes.
The way the witch looks at the end when it's possessing the mom, it's crazy. So $20 million.
Yeah.
Money well spent because they made worldwide on this $319 million.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Holy shit!
Wow.
It doubled the money on opening weekend. It made $40 million in the U.S. on opening weekend, and yeah, man, $320 million
compared to episode 38 with Idle Hands that flopped.
Right. Yeah.
So we're back with a feature film here that absolutely busted the box office.
Absolutely right, Brian. Yeah, the last episode we did, our movie, I think was made for $25 million about, and it made $4 million worldwide. So This movie did a lot better.
Well, I'm not positive if this is a accurate link, but I want to say the James Wan, with him directing it, maybe had an influence on some overseas.
Oh yeah, man!
Ticket selling,
yeah. Because he got his start. I mean, he's not even from America. Like he was doing filmmaking, I believe, in other countries first. So yeah, absolutely.
I believe so.
And
yeah.
I mean, horror movies are kind of
they
something that can
sell.
really it can translate language barriers more than anything because
totally.
You're scared, man. Like something I was going to bring up right now in trivia is that this movie, The Conjuring, it's rated R, and there's no swearing in the movie, really. There's no nudity. There's really no blood. So why is it rated R? It's rated R because it's so scary.
Yeah.
And whoever, rates these movies, whatever organization that is, they just felt that people that are under the age of 17 shouldn't go see this because it's that scary.
I'm okay with the rated R
Yep, I agree.
rating.
I'm good with it too. It was right on point. But let's get into the trivia. The Warrens, right? That's Elizabeth and Ed?
Yes.
Lorraine
and Ed. Elizabeth Warren just sounds right. Maybe that's a name from something else, but whatever. So the Warrens, right, are paranormal investigators. They also investigated the famous Amityville horror case.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
The Warrens also investigated a case featuring Annabelle, right, the doll, which is featured in the movie The Conjuring, but it's a separate case in real life, so the writers kind of combined that into one thing.
Okay.
Two people that experienced the actual events, Lorraine Warren and Andrea Perron. So that's the clairvoyant woman, Lorraine Warren, and then Andrea Perron. She was a young girl. They served as consultants to director James Wan and the screenwriters when they made this film. And Lorraine, now an old woman who actually she's now deceased, she passed away, she claimed that the movie is actually accurate to the real story, whereas the daughter in the movie, Andrea, who's I believe in her 50s now, maybe, she has a different opinion, but we'll get there. First, I want to talk about the state of Rhode Island, because that's where this whole story takes place. And the state of Rhode Island does not require home sellers to disclose documented histories of locations' criminal activity, let alone alleged paranormal and supernatural hauntings, to potential buyers. So,
are you kidding me?
When they bought the house, they had no idea what they were getting into, and everyone in Rhode Island.
That's like a written law that they can't say anything. They don't have to say to you. Oh,
they don't,
wow.
Like, I could stab Drew in the head right now if this was Rhode Island, and then go to jail. The bank can then sell the house to whoever, and then say, that nothing ever happened there. It's fine.
Wow, man.
So that was a law in Rhode Island. If it's still existing, I don't know, but that's what happened
at the time. Yeah,
it might still be it. I don't know. I've never been to Rhode Island. It's pretty small. I don't know if there's small. Geographical, I don't know if that, small mines, I don't know if that really translates. I'm not sure.
Yeah, okay, all right.
But yeah. The film was shot in chronological order.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you never hear that anymore.
I think it's really cool for horror films because as an actor, you really get to like project through.
Yeah. Instead of bouncing around like emotionally. Yeah, for sure.
It seems cool. It seems like maybe for kid actors, it's easier for them. Maybe I don't know. It's cool whenever you see that.
Sounds just easier for everyone. Well, I don't know about that because then I'm not going to go into it. I'll save it.
Well, we'll keep going then here. This is wild. So when the movie was shown in the Philippines, some cinemas had to hire Catholic priests to bless the viewers before and after the showing. And this was due to some viewers having reported a negative presence, like an overwhelming negative presence, like on them after watching the film, right? So priests also provided spiritual and psychological guidance to help viewers at their request after viewing the film.
Dude, I actually kind of remember this at launch from whatever grade I was in. I don't know if it was this exact movie, but I remember hearing multiple occurrences for theaters or wherever the place the movie was being showed that there was on-site priests if you wanted a blessing. I think it's hilarious.
I love it. I think it's a really cool publicity stunt.
It absolutely is. Yeah, I mean, they were able to then come to America and say, look, like we're showing it in Taiwan and people are getting blessed by priests because they're so scared. Like every American's gonna want to go watch that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just adds to just the allure of it. You know, if you were going to the movie theater and you saw priests outside, like, doing whatever, like throwing holy water on you or doing some sort of like ritual, I'd be like, what is that all about, man? Whoa. Like, it just adds to the experience, like even before even watching the movie.
Yep.
Or after coming out. Ooh. Yeah, definitely weird.
Man. Yeah, I mean, the people overseas, they thought the creature or whatever, the witch in the movie, they thought it was like coming with them just because they watched. Crazy.
Oh, wow.
But just more about the allure here. Apparently, 8 generations of families lived and died in the house before the Perrons moved in. And Andrea Perron, one of the young girls in the movie, she suggested that some of the spirits from the families never left and that the deaths, these are the claimed deaths that happened in the house or around the property.
Okay.
2 documented suicides, a poisoning, a rape and murder, 2 drownings, the passing of 4 men who froze to death. And all of them usually occurred within the Arnold family, which was the family that owned this house for many of those 8 generations. So at least like 5 or 6.
So that's like quite a body count, huh?
Yes. And the Arnold family is where Bathsheba Sherman descended from. And Bathsheba is our main witch. She
started all of this? Apparently,
she is the witchcraft.
Maybe she started it. Maybe she didn't. She descends from this Arnold family. But yes, for everyone listening, from now on, if we're talking about Bathsheba, that's the main big bad witch in the movie who's like taking over the mob.
But the Bathsheba's like supposedly that's not her real name.
That's her real name.
Oh, okay.
Her name is Bathsheba Sherman. Bathsheba. I mean, it's a no-brainer that name did not make it to the 21st century. That name sucks. Bathsheba? What?
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever. Like I said, the movie retained an R rating, even though there's no sex or nudity, profanity, and really no blood. But it's R rated because it's so scary.
Yeah, just like disturbing imagery. Yeah.
Exactly. We talked about Annabelle already. Well, it's from another case. It's not actually from this, one with Bathsheba and the Perron family. So the real Annabelle doll was a Raggedy Ann doll, so, real soft. And it was bought by a girl named Donna's mother at some hobby shop back in the day. And this doll was known in these people's house for leaving notes written on, like, parchment and on paper and pen and stuff. But, like, they wouldn't even have paper in their house. And they would just wake up, and the doll would be, like, next to some, like, shit written down. And they were just like, all right, no more.
I mean, that's creepy.
Dude.
When you said they didn't have paper, like I can't remember if you said a year, but like that'd be hilarious if like all these people were illiterate. So like,
I can't read.
Even on the notes, they're like, I don't even know what it says.
What is the devil doll saying? I can't read. Apparently, though, the real life Annabelle doll also attacked one of a family friend of that family, and it left claw marks on his chest.
Whoa.
Yeah,
like a little puffy doll, because this is not a porcelain doll.
No, it's like a little soft one. It was like a stuffed animal type thing.
So yeah,
a 2-foot doll just running at you.
So then in the movie they were like, we got to elevate it to make it look scary.
Yeah, oh my gosh,
yeah.
They wanted
Which
to
makes sense.
They made it.
It's a cinematic thing to do.
So I'll get into this a little bit later, but in the original case, Ed and Lorraine Warren were actually kicked out of the house, and they never actually like made any what's the word when you exorcism.
Yeah.
They never did an exorcism.
They never exorcised the demons.
Never happened. Okay, but hold that thought. All right. Andrea Perron, like this young girl I keep bringing up, she's written 3 books, okay? This is why I keep bringing her up. She's written 3 books about
this?
her encounters with the house.
All right.
Because the family lived there for 10 years. And her books are called House of Darkness, House of Light. I don't know how well it's sold, or, I'm not going to read it, but if anyone wants to, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
So now I'm just going to rattle off a few things. So, the tree in the movie that we see where apparently someone was hung?
Yes.
So the production team built that. That's not a real tree.
Dude, that's what I thought when we were watching it, because the way that branch was structured, it just to perfectly hold a noose like that.
Yep.
And the tree itself just looks creepy as hell.
It didn't really fit in yet. It looked a little bit too creepy. I'm with you.
Yeah, it didn't look authentic.
Totally
That's
fake,
awesome,
man.
though. Wow.
How much money does it cost to make a giant 50-foot fake tree?
I don't know. It's probably hollow. So
True.
I don't know.
I mean, I just thought that was wild. I've never heard of a movie making fake trees.
I'm sure it happens more than you think, though.
Except for Pineapple Express, right? Fake trees. Fake weed, probably.
Wow.
I get it.
Movie weed. I don't know. With Seth Rogen, you never know. So, Brian, you brought this up. The real story of The Conjuring states that the hide and clap game that the kids play that you see in the movie, which I think is one of the most scary parts of the film.
It's great. Yeah, it's awesome.
When the ghosts start doing the clap game with them.
Oh, it's creepy.
Apparently, the kids actually did that in the 70s. The real family played that game. And one of the young daughters, Cindy, right? You see in the movie how she was locked in that little closet space.
Yes.
Well, apparently, according to the family, that maybe happened in real life. She was trapped in like this small kind of closet area where there wasn't even a handle or a lock. So it made no sense how they couldn't get her out. But they eventually were able to get her out. So just sort of an odd story. But again, no real proof. It's just what the family says happened.
Okay.
And then cool. The last thing I have for trivia here is that Ghost Hunters made an episode over the house in 2005. I think these are hour-long episodes, and what they claim to find during their episode was cold spots, and that refers to places where there's drops in temperature,
yes,
which we do see in the movie and read in the screenplay.
Spirit presence, yes.
Yeah, and it basically says that a spirit is there, and they also captured doors slamming, apparently. So must have been a great episode.
Seems pretty basic, like as far as
a lot of basic,
nothing,
and a lot of fishing line.
Nothing very
Sounds
intriguing.
Like to me.
Yeah, fishing line for sure. Now that we're done with trivia, I just wanted to mention one more thing. Because I asked you guys in the beginning if you believed in this kind of stuff. I never said my opinion.
Yeah.
But, I don't really know where I'm at. Like, I'll have to say, like, this stuff, like, creeps me out. Like, when I watch these movies, like, depending how effective they are, like, because some of them are garbage, but, like, this movie, like, gave me goosebumps at times.
Oh,
like,
it totally
like
does.
Even just the music, Like, not even just the content of the story. Like, the music is, like, pretty effective. It's simple but effective.
And you just put you watch this and you put yourself in the situation that you're watching, and you're like, damn, I'd be so scared if I was seeing that or hearing that.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't know where I'm at. Like, I don't really necessarily believe in it, but by saying that I don't believe in it, I feel like I'm summoning something to, like, come scare the shit out of me to make me believe in it. So it's kind of like...
You're taking this is the perfect approach, because then you're just going to win no matter what.
Exactly.
Because you don't want something to come attack. You don't want to let them know that they can come haunt you, but you also don't want them to know that you're cool with them.
Well, but it's like even if it like does exist, like what are like those like chances of like somebody coming across that? Like you can never know that.
Well, according to the Warrens, like these spirits come at you because there's like an object in your house that they like are lingering to.
Yeah.
Or because like you did something to them, I think.
You let them in?
Yeah, because you let them in because like your fear.
They infest you.
So just don't be afraid, people.
Ooh.
Just scream it out every night before you go to bed. I'm not afraid.
That'll do it.
Yeah. That's how you do it. I do it.
Okay, let's talk about the script really fast. We're not going to discuss it that much because we actually want to talk about the supposed real story that happened where the film is based off.
The real story that we know of, that we've limitedly, is that a word? Researched.
Limited research.
We didn't spend our whole week on this. Okay, we looked into it a little bit, and this is what we found. We're not 100%, but I'm like 85.
This is the research that we're going to use.
It's 85% accurate.
So the script is 113 pages that we read. There was no draft number or date, but it was very clear that it was an early draft because it was similar in like general main plot points, but I mean, it was very different at the same time with things that occurred. Written by Carrie and Chad Hayes, who are brothers apparently, which is cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Another thing, I was looking in their background. They've been pretty like busy in the 90s. They started out in the 90s, and then they got a lot of credits coming up, probably because it looked like The Conjuring was like their first like really big breakthrough.
Nice.
But I also was curious with them, like, did they stumble upon this story, like this this story, and then they're like, wow, that would be a really interesting script to write for a movie? Or did the production company approach them? I have no idea.
Yeah, that's a good question.
But I also want to mention, like, these types of stories that you, like, whether it's watching the news or hearing, like, these kind of, like, hauntings, I think those are great premises to capitalize on for a cinematic experience.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%,
Well,
yeah.
there is one downside, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah, totally a downside. But as far as like just taking what is like this supposed truth and then fictionalizing it, I think is really fun.
Pushing the boundaries, most definitely.
Yeah. So let's just go right into this. So we're going to rattle off just really quickly like some differences that we noticed. So in the beginning, in the film, that's when you meet the Warrens and they kind of go over this Annabelle haunting, right, really quickly to get the story going. In the script, there's no mention of Annabelle. I think we kind of mentioned this earlier.
Yep.
No Annabelle in the original script.
Hey, it's a good thing they put it in the movie because it became its own movie.
I know. Now it's
move.
its own franchise.
Smart move.
Yeah. What else do we got here? What else did you guys notice?
Well, Jerome, if you remember in the movie, he's like the tech guy. He's like a younger, looks like he's a college
I think
student.
his name is Drew, I believe.
Oh, so in the movie he's Drew.
Yes.
Nice. Well, Drew, a.k.a. Jerome in the script, in the movie, he's like a hero. He helps the little girls at the end. He helps with everything. In the script, they just kill him. He gets hit by a car. Really has nothing to do with anything. They like give you like a slight hint that maybe the witch had something to do with it.
Yeah.
But it's like...
Wait, was this the guy that like didn't believe at first?
No,
or was
that's
that
the
just
cop.
This was the guy... He's
the tech guy.
In the script, he gets hit by a semi-truck. It's like, what? it was weird. It made no sense.
Yeah.
It was just like, why have this whole character and then he just dies so suddenly and then we never even really mention it afterwards?
Yeah.
God.
It was strange.
I know we already mentioned the no clap game in the screenplay, which like we said, that was like one of the cooler parts in the movie as far as like, wow, that's like a terrifying event. Like a children's game turns into just something awful.
It's funny too because when you're watching it for the first time and you see them get in the new house, put on the blindfold and start playing, you're like, great, I know where this is going. Like this is going to turn scary.
Well, I mean, even the mom mentioned like when they were playing, she was like, "Why are you guys playing that game already? You don't know the house." It's like, yeah, like what are you doing? But anyways,
scary stuff.
In the screenplay, there's like an opening scene that takes place during the 1800s, so they give you a little history as far as what occurred at the house before the family moves in and the Warrens start to figure it out. So you get a little nugget of that,
Like
which
Bathsheba,
I kind of like that.
Yeah, they show you Bathsheba killing her husband, right?
Essentially, yeah.
Doing the sacrifice.
Yes. Yeah, with the knitting needles.
Right.
For Satan.
Yep. All for Satan.
I mean, that was pretty much it, mainly, right?
Yeah, I
don't know if you guys can say that Annabelle had no appearance.
Yeah. We mentioned that. Jeez, were you listening at all?
Well, I guess my brain shut off for that. Jeez.
I'm just messing with you, man.
Apologies.
It happens. But yeah,
No need
we
to
did.
apologize.
No Annabelle. She has her own movie now. But yeah, what I was just gonna say is that like in the script, like you guys noticed too as you read, there's like little jump scares and things they added, and it's not worth mentioning. And then as they show up on set and you actually film it, or as you make revisions, those things change.
Yeah.
One thing was definitely the same in both the script and the movie, and that's that the witch is related to the Salem witch trials, and they say that she killed her own baby with these knitting needles.
Yes.
This is according to the legend, that Bathsheba killed her own baby with needles, then she killed her husband, and then hung herself in her barn, all for Satan.
Yes.
And,
And then cursed whoever
Yes.
went on her land, took her land. That
anyone who comes on her land, she comes and she'll find a way to make you kill yourself or kill other people. Yada yada yada. Bryan, you had a joke in here I loved. You said that Bathsheba had the idle hands, man.
Well, didn't they say that in the
She
script?
truly did.
They did say that in the
They
script?
said something about idle hands in the script, didn't they, Bryan?
I didn't catch
Wow. I mean, that's pretty
Dude,
funny.
I'm pretty sure they did. But anyways.
Our episode lineup are just fantastic.
Absolutely. But what I just said, the whole Salem witch thing, that she killed her own baby, that's just the legend. That's just what people were talking about at the time when this person was around and after she died, too, which is around the 1800s, okay?
Yeah.
So now we're getting into the real story.
Yeah, I know you got a handle on this, so we'll just kind of pepper in.
Yeah, we're just gonna roll through it. Bryan and Drew, just stop me whenever you got something to say.
Got it, yeah.
So this is the real story.
This is what really happened. I'm pretty sure all of this is correct. I mean, like I said, we didn't spend all week on this, but we're pretty sure this is right. So
our sources aren't from all Wikipedia, so they're pretty realistic, I'd say.
I didn't use Wikipedia for one thing, man. One of my things here, I'm not going to list all my sources, but one of them right here is from the Providence Journal. Like, that's a legit Rhode Island newspaper.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah,
It's
totally.
Providence Journal. All right, so Harrisville, Rhode Island, okay? Harrisville, Rhode Island. That's where Roger Perron and his wife, Carolyn, purchased their home in the winter of 1970, okay? It's a 200-acre property. This is the farmhouse. This is the location where it all takes place. And they have daughters, Andrea, Nancy, Christine, Cynthia, and April. 5 daughters. Right?
And the bank did not tell them anything.
Right, because in the state of Rhode Island, you don't have to disclose any criminal, paranormal, none of that shit. Like, you can just sell a house.
That is unreal.
They just sell the house at this time, right? They moved in 1970. They moved out in 1980. They lived there for 10 years, guys.
Oh, God.
10 years, and yet they claimed that from right away, they knew something wasn't right. So this is what the family actually claimed. They claimed to seeing, at first, objects moving, brooms falling over, things like that. Then they saw a boy in the house. The girls saw him first, I believe. Then the young girls started seeing a man with a crooked smile. He would appear in the corners of their room, watching as they played. And apparently they called him Manny.
Why would you name him?
I don't know if they named him. Maybe he
Told him?
He said, "This is my name." I don't know.
Nice to meet you. I'm Manny. I'm going to scare the hell out of you.
Kind of a weird name for a ghost. Manny, Manny.
I don't know, man.
Weird name for a ghost.
I don't know, Manny.
But other things that the family claimed was that beds would sometimes levitate a few inches off the ground. Furniture seemed to have a mind of its own, gliding across the floors. Doors would open and close like we saw in the movie. And they also would say that there was an unwelcomed visitor in their bedroom, and it wasn't just the creepy guy with the smile in the corner. This unseen force would yank on their legs and their hair while the girls would sleep. So they were waking up and thinking, things were touching them.
That's terrifying. I hate that.
Right. And one spirit, I guess, this is according to the family, began to torment the 8-year-old Cindy, apparently whispering to her over and over again that there were dead soldiers buried in the house's walls.
Okay. Well, hold on. I got a question. So based on what you saw in the movie that they gave you, the signs that something was wrong, or this stuff, at what point, if you were moving into a house and you noticed something, when were you going to be like, all right, that's it. I'm done. I'm leaving?
I honestly would just stop right there when I see a piece of my furniture that I know is in that corner, and I woke up the next day was in that opposite corner.
Yeah. Seriously.
And then I'd be out of there.
I'm out the moment I find my dog is no longer alive.
Yeah,
and it's just like choked on his own chain. It's just like, wait, what?
Or no, even before that, barking and refusing to come in.
Yeah, the dog wouldn't even go in the house. It's like, okay, this dog is sensing something here.
Yeah.
Very true.
But I just rattled off kind of all the things that they were seeing in the house. But the most haunting spirit, right, according to the Warrens, this was like the family. That's what the family saw, right? Now in real life, the Warrens show up and they bring up Bathsheba Sherman, right? Because from their own research, from talking to historians in the local neighborhoods or whatever, they found out that Bathsheba Sherman was a suspect of witchcraft in the 1800s.
Okay.
According to the Perron family, she appeared to every single one of them. They all saw her. She had a gray face, and her head was bent to one side as if her neck was permanently snapped.
But they lived there. But they were there for 10 years.
But apparently they stayed there for 10 years. So it's like, God. If you all saw that, what are you doing? And apparently the family did have financial troubles, but hold on. So how do we know, though? How How did the Warrens know that this lady, Bathsheba, was the ghost, right? I said they did some research. They talked to some people in the area, some old newspapers, but there was really no hard evidence, okay? So this is why people, are the Warrens frauds? Yes, no, I don't know. There's no hard evidence that supports this lady's a witch, okay? But there's this story. This is what the Warrens found. Apparently in the 1800s, an infant mysteriously died in Bathsheba's care. Not her own child, a neighbor's child. Died while Bathsheba was caring for it, okay? When the baby was examined, it was determined that the mortal wound was caused by a large sewing needle, right, at the base of the child's skull.
Wow.
The townspeople believed Bathsheba sacrificed the infant as an offering to the devil, right? But her name was cleared legally because they're, the trial, whatever. The public wasn't convinced, right? This is what the Warrens found. This is what they're telling the family, okay? This is what the Warrens are telling the entire family, that Bathsheba is this horrible witch, sacrificed a baby, right? So now the family's terrified, obviously, right?
Dude, I mean, after I heard that, I'd be like, okay, I'm out. But then also, it's like, if you were to be on the side of, well, this is all fictitious, it's like, okay, I could see that angle too. But like coming up with a story like this is like, I mean,
pretty elaborate.
It's pretty creative.
Yes, and this is what people say the Warrens kind of did throughout their whole career. They took some kind of facts that existed, things that were really there, and then they just kind of filled in blanks on their own, okay?
They turned it into a marketing strategy, essentially.
Exactly, Bryan. And so what was the woman a clairvoyant? Were they actually believing in what they're doing? I don't know. That's up for you guys to decide. But in reality, okay, Bathsheba Sherman was not a Satanist. She didn't sacrifice her own kid or a neighbor's kid to the devil, okay? What people actually researched and found, this was from that article I brought up earlier in, a Rhode Island newspaper.
Yeah.
Bathsheba Sherman was neither a Satanist nor a witch, and she didn't even hang herself. She was born in 1812, I guess, and died in 1885 of paralysis and probably a stroke. She was a perfectly normal woman.
All right.
Okay. She is buried close by to the house, and this house is real, right? I mean, this family, like, the history's there. Whether or not you believe the Warrens are real, that family, these girls, I mean...
They are a real family.
Yeah, and they experienced some horrible shit there for 10 years. I mean, the one chick wrote a book about it, Andrea. She has 3 books about it, okay? So what you want to believe, for 10 years, that family endured some horrible, horrible shit, right? And as we know by now, the film isn't anything like real life, okay? But that's Hollywood. You have to expect that
right.
when Hollywood
comes
in. That Andrea Perron, the girl I was just talking about who wrote the books, this is a direct quote from her. The movie is so distant from the truth that it might as well be 2 different stories compared to the real life, right? She said it's just the characters sharing the same names.
Well, didn't we say in the beginning that she was also like a consultant for the movie?
Yes.
Okay, so she's even coming out saying these quotes.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
She's even coming out saying that it's not exact. It's really not the same at all, right?
Yeah.
And let's talk about the differences within the ending itself, right? In the movie, Ed Warren, he conducts this exorcism. The church won't show up to do it. They won't do it because the family wasn't baptized, right?
Yeah.
What a ridiculous thing. Like, they had all the proof in the world.
Yeah,
the church was really being, lazy in my opinion.
I mean, it's like if you're the church, right? So it's the church versus like the devil. Like, why wouldn't you be like, okay, we're going to take care. This is our enemy.
Yeah,
we're going to vanquish them. We're going to send them back to hell. But it's just like, no. You're not baptized. We're not going to help you. We're going to let it linger here on holy soil. We're not going to do it. I don't know. That's weird. That angle's weird.
It is very strange. But so that's what happened in the movie. Ed Warren conducts the exorcism and he saves the family. In actuality, what happened was the Warrens brought a medium, a priest themselves, so the clairvoyant and the man Ed, and apparently several others too, other witnesses. They had a seance.
Yeah.
What the hell that is, I have no idea. They did it inside the Warrens' home, and the attempt to cleanse the house only seemed to make the spirits within more active and pissed off, okay? And apparently, what the young girl recollects is that her mom did levitate, was thrown across the room, okay?
Ugh.
I don't know if there's any film on this. I don't know if there's proof.
Yeah.
But Roger, the dad, was so freaking mad afterwards because he could tell, like, okay, this is getting worse with you here. He kicked the Warrens out. He kicked everyone out of his house and said, don't come back. And they never did come back because the family stayed there for 10 years, right?
What the hell?
The Warrens didn't save them. They didn't help them or anything. The family was able to move in 1980 after they were, finally able to get out of their financial struggles. And yeah, 10 years. 10 years.
I mean, whether that's true or not, that just unnerves me. Like,
that's what puts all the holes into the story. It's like, like the movie makes it so extreme. It's like, you can't do that for 10 years.
No, you go insane.
Exactly.
Unreal, yeah. Regardless of the financials of what you had, like if you're getting haunted for a week, you would get the hell out of there.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So in real life, the Warrens never even got rid of these demons, never expelled them to another realm, whatever you want to say it. So the ghosts are still there then, right? Well, yeah. And we know that because people live in this house right now. People live in the house. The real house. Not the one in the movie is not the real house either. That's fake. Yeah. With a fake tree. We said that. The current owner, well, she's not the current owner anymore, actually. I just found out 5 minutes ago. But she had owned the house for over a decade, until 2019, Norma Sutcliffe. She stated that her and her husband, Jerry, have had far less intense experiences in the farmhouse, including they've had the door banging, okay, they've had sounds of people talking, sounds of footsteps, and that's it.
That's still weird, though. I wouldn't like that.
It was funny because I read the only occurrences that they would have were fans showing up to the house because they wanted to see it.
Yeah. Oh. Bryan, that was their biggest complaint. They said after the movie came out, people were trespassing. People were talking about online, talking about breaking in to see what's inside.
Oh,
dude. Jeez, man.
So this made her mad. I mean, when all these people were showing up, I mean, her life was getting ruined, right? I mean, people were flowing to her house as if it was a spectacle. So she, I guess, hired this investigative reporter. I didn't look into it that much, but after doing research, Sutcliffe herself, along with help from a professional, they found out, this is a direct quote, there were no murders, no suicides, she said in a phone interview. There's no reason a ghost would exist in my home. Please leave me alone. None of it's real.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, but in another interview, like I just said, she claimed to hear some noises that there is maybe some strange things going on in the house. But again, nothing evil, nothing that makes her feel like she shouldn't live there anymore. And now a new couple just bought the house this year, and they're claiming the same thing. They're hearing, maybe little voices, little footsteps, but they sense no evil presence. Although the owner did say that they don't like to stay in the house alone at night.
These people are ballsy, man.
So ballsy to buy that house. I mean,
like what the hell?
I mean, because now they must have not changed that rule because now the information is fully disclosed. Everyone knows about it.
I mean, fake or not, but like just that background that's attached to it.
Yeah,
no, thank you.
Why would you want to live there?
That baggage, no.
No chance.
You're buying that house if you're just like a paranormal geek and you want to be haunted.
Or you want attention.
Oh, yeah, that too. Exactly. Because, I mean, this is a point that, people brought up on Reddit when I was looking into, are the Warrens real, right? Are the Warrens real? Well,
real people or what they did?
Is their work real? Yeah. Are they legit paranormal hunters? Or are they just storytellers? Well, a big common theme between all the houses and all the locations that they went to was that all the families were in financial trouble. So you could argue that the Warrens, stretch their story because these people were so stressed and they were creating their own problems in their head. And the Warrens came in and said, ooh, let's fuck with them and really, take this to the next level. It'll help us. Or was it the family making the shit up themselves to try to get attention, to try to make their house a spectacle, become an amusement thing to other people?
Yeah.
Right?
People would come to pay. And
it's just strange that all these hauntings, all these bad things are happening to only people with financial struggles.
That is
kind of a weird thing, and that's someone pointed that out online on Reddit. I have no idea too if were these people taking money. I have no idea if the Warrens were. I'm assuming they probably were, right? Or else why would you do it?
That's a weird connection. I mean, maybe this is a leap, but we mentioned like ghost adventures and like ghost hunters and all this stuff beforehand where they're just shows for entertainment. Like maybe the Warrens, this is like them pioneering that type of stuff.
To be honest, that's what I think.
I mean, you don't know for sure, but like I can make that connection without like having proof to it, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or at least like speculating that connection.
I'm with you, man. I mean, back in the day, like the only way people heard about this stuff was through the news, like newspapers, word of mouth. So like the Warrens were like legends in their area because it's like, some weird things are going on here. Oh, we should call the Warrens maybe, like at that time they were celebrities.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you're right. Like they were just kind of doing the ghost adventures, the ghost hunters thing before TV really existed.
In the 60s, yeah.
Yeah, and they just said, "Ooh, look at this equipment, and these things do this and that, and check it out. It's science."
Yeah, it was weird. It was strange.
But it's interesting to
different,
people because like ghost stories have been around forever. People have always been thinking there's ghosts and demons, and heaven and hell. Man, like it's been there forever. So like, and I brought up earlier too, like during the 60s and 70s. I mean, maybe some of the 80s too, and the Warrens had their highlight. Like it was, one of the biggest religious points in America where people really believed in that stuff. And when you get someone in your house saying, "Oh yeah, this is haunted. There's a demon here. We gotta alleviate the devil." You're scared shitless because you believe in it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it is like scary just thinking about it. Whether or not it's happening or not, like even just the thought of it is scary.
Hey man, I mean, all I know is the house we're in right now is really big, and I don't want to be here alone at night.
No,
'cause your imagination can create anything.
Yeah, man, your imagination is your worst enemy. I know. I'll share this. Like when I was reading the script the other day, just the script, okay, not even the movie, because I mean the movie is scary. When I was just reading the script, because so in our basement, going to your room where basically we have a long basement, and
narrow hallway.
You go to one end of the basement, you have to turn the lights off. So you're turning lights off, and then the lights behind you. So it gets dark behind you as you go forward. So as I was doing that, as I hit the last light, like I sprinted to my room. And I haven't done this like since I was a kid. But like this kind of stuff is just like creepy, and it got to me.
Yeah.
Like, and it's hilarious because I love to write horror. I just thought that was funny.
It's successful. That's when it just works so well.
Yeah.
I love when you can read something and it can make you scared instead of watching it, because it's easier. It's easier to make someone scared just by showing them something.
It just like tweaked me out, like for like that second. I mean, because once I like went to bed, I was like, cool. Like I was like, all right, fine. But like, just like again, just the imagination where it's like you think something's like lingering behind you or whatever it is. All those common things that people think about.
And that's the question that this whole like movie, the Conjuring's about, and this whole episode is just like, you can believe whatever you want. You either can choose to believe in that stuff or say no, not for me.
Yeah.
But either way, sometimes you're in a situation where you might feel like something's right behind you.
Yeah.
And maybe there is, maybe there isn't. I don't know.
Well, I think that about wraps it up, guys. You want to discuss some final thoughts before we end the episode?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I just want to say first off, like, I was really disappointed that it wasn't a true story. Like, I really wanted to believe all of this. I wanted it to all be real. I wanted there to be. Well, I guess I didn't want a baby to be sacrificed in the 1800s, but
I'm sure people did that.
I kind of wanted to believe it, and it's kind of sad that like none of it happened, none of it, and yet the house is still kind of haunted.
I mean, you still don't know. You still don't know.
There's so much unclear here, and I just want to know everything, and I'm never going to. And I don't know. I mean, overall, I love the movie. In terms of like stars on the movie, that's a 4-star horror movie.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of the Conjuring film. I want to say there was a second one that came out, right?
Yep. Yeah, they made a second one. Yeah,
never seen it. They're making a third.
I don't know if I've ever seen that one, but yeah, just as a horror film, I'm a huge fan of like the paranormal films. Like I know I said in the beginning that I don't have fear, but that was a total joke. I love being feared and having like that emotion attached, because it just gets my adrenaline going, and it's just like a little internal drug that I always want. But relating to the screenplay and the movie, it was interesting just to read paranormal like written ideas. Because like you said, Drew, like reading it, I was pretty spooked out as well. Like at nighttime, I was reading it off my iPad, and I was just like, "Oh, geez, like pretty silent in the apartment right now. Like, what if I hear a noise?" Blah blah blah.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, horror is just a great thing for me. I'm obsessed with it, and just really hope to just try to be involved in the near future. Or just keep reading it, and hopefully more awesome movies will be created in the future. 4 out of 5 for me as well.
Right. I mean, this movie spawned a whole franchise. From this, you got The Conjuring 2, right? Annabelle, The Nun. Those are all apparently like Warren cases, I think.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
they're somehow all related. I don't know. I mean, that's just crazy. They all happened because of one movie made $300 million.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree with you guys. I'm like right on par with like the 3 or 4 star range for sure. I myself am not a big paranormal fan. I think there's just like too many. Like it's kind of like Marvel, like superhero movies to me.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like the easy way out when you want to make a horror film, you know?
Maybe like I don't really know. I mean, it's like that's like a hard point to discuss. But at the same, like paranormal movies, like they do like kind of freak me out. Like I mean, if they're done well, like this one's done really well, in my opinion. So I do like this movie. I think it's one of the better horror movies to come out like in the 2000s, like for sure. I mean, just like relating it to like slasher movies and like creature features and like all this other stuff, like those don't really like scare me that much. Like those are like fun and they kind of scare me, but like the paranormal stuff is just like weird. It's just like you don't know if it's real. It might be, it might not be. Like monster movies are like, okay, yeah, monsters are not real, you know. But I think what's most interesting about this and this episode as well, we've never done an episode that's like based on a true story. Mm-hmm. You know, like true stories like used pretty loosely in this sense, based on the research that we kind of discussed. You don't know if it's real, but it does have some background to it. Which, and as far as a writing perspective and just putting together some sort of like entertainment project, I think is like I said earlier, I think it's just a really cool idea to look at something that has supposedly happened and turning into fiction. So that's really all I got for the main strength here with The Conjuring.
It's a great film. It's good stuff, man. Ghost stories. They've been around forever, and now they're even making movies about them. It's pretty cool.
Spooky.
What was her name? Bathsheba? Oh, it's a horrible name.
No matter what platform you're using to listen to us, I just want it to be known that we're available on iTunes, Spreaker, and YouTube. So if you like our content, please be sure to follow all of our channels so you can stay in the loop with new episodes. Also, feel free to give us a rating and leave us comments, or send us an email at screenplayjunkie.show@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback. Also, if you have any recommendations of screenplays we should read, movies we should watch, or really anything, let us know on any of our platforms. We're always looking for other things to check out. In the next edition of this Fright Fest mini-series, we'll be discussing the 1968 George A. Romero zombie classic, Night of the Living Dead. Thank you for listening. We hope you can join us next time.